Where had you gone before you moved to the city?
I had gone to the countryside before I moved to the city.
When had you finished your homework?
I had finished my homework before dinner.
How had you prepared for the exam?
I had prepared for the exam by studying for weeks.
Who had visited you before the party started?
My cousin had visited me before the party started.
What had you eaten before you left home?
I had eaten breakfast before I left home.
Where had they gone before the storm hit?
They had gone to the supermarket before the storm hit.
How long had you lived in that house before you moved?
I had lived in that house for 10 years before I moved.
Why had she called you before the meeting?
She had called me to remind me about the meeting.
What had you done before the guests arrived?
I had cleaned the house before the guests arrived.
Where had he worked before he joined this company?
He had worked at a different firm before he joined this company.
What had you bought before the store closed?
I had bought some groceries before the store closed.
Who had taught you to drive before you got your license?
My father had taught me to drive before I got my license.
When had you seen that movie before?
I had seen that movie last year before watching it again yesterday.
How had she felt before she received the good news?
She had felt anxious before she received the good news.
What had they done before they left for vacation?
They had packed their bags before they left for vacation.
Where had you been before you came to the office?
I had been at a meeting before I came to the office.
Why had he apologized before the argument ended?
He had apologized because he realized he was wrong before the argument ended.
What had you read before you went to bed?
I had read a few chapters of my book before I went to bed.
How had the team prepared before the big game?
The team had trained hard before the big game.
Who had visited them before they moved to a new city?
Their friends had visited them before they moved to a new city.